after President-elect Donald Trump's pledge of mass deportations.
On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history.
You better start packing now.
It's a scary time, and people are worried.
Legal analysts say the first targets might be undocumented immigrants who committed a crime. Even those who have a green card and got arrested, say 20 years ago, for minor charges.
Even though California state law has recognized that many of these offenses are minor and people have had their record cleared, that's not going to pass for federal law, and that's important to know.
Tonight, hundreds of miles south of the border in Mexico, a caravan of migrants chanting, "We are not criminals," is rushing to make it to the U.S.-Mexico border before the Trump administration is sworn in. Many carrying their belongings in plastic bags and on their backs, and already starting to voice their fears about not being able to cross into the United States come January. "I think it will be much more complicated now," says this man who's traveling from Venezuela. "Now we are thinking about finding a way to get through before Trump takes the presidency." DHS officials telling NBC News that they have not yet seen a surge in migrants heading to the United States, but that they want CBP and ICE officials to be prepared.
One of the first calls I'm going to make is to Mexico. You stop letting people come in through our border.
Trump now vowing to deport millions of undocumented migrants, saying his plan has, quote, "no price tag." He's also threatening to impose a tariff of 25% on Mexican imports unless Mexico's government curbs what he describes as an onslaught of immigration. Those promises now creating uncertainty and anxiety among migrants making the taxing journey. This caravan, which set off with nearly 3,000 people on Election Day, has dwindled to just about half of its original size, according to Reuters. This man from Venezuela saying now that Trump has won, he doesn't know what to do, but returning to Venezuela for him is like being shot in the head. To discuss the border issue, time that many migrants now fear is running out for them.
Hundreds of immigrant advocates packed into Foley Square to rally with signs and chants.
No hate, no fear, immigrants are welcome here.
And a spirit of resilience against an incoming Trump administration they've had battles with years before.
While our movement experiences setbacks, we will not be silenced.
Aparicio is an immigrant from Mexico, among hundreds in the crowd, sharing since election night he's had worries for him and his loved ones.
It's really important for me because when I came to this country, I was hoping to find opportunities for myself and my family. With Trump, that's going to be a little harder.
Mayor Adams earlier this week admitted the city has struggled to balance the overall rhetoric and balance its budget due to the influx of migrants.
The pressure of finding billions of dollars instead of going to those needs that everyday New Yorkers needed.
Yet the administration addressed the fears many immigrants expressed ahead of Thursday's demonstration.
I want to reassure people that they do not need to self-deport. They do not need to hide, go in the shadows, and that they can continue to use our city services.
Members of the New York Immigration Coalition gathered to stand up for immigrants amid imminent threats posed by Trump's second presidency.
We are here today to reaffirm our commitment to protect immigrants.
Making note of Trump's expressed efforts to implement the largest mass deportation in the country's history, ousting an estimated 11 million people.
We will not stand by as Trump's deportation agenda threatening our community. We will be there for them.
To the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's releasing our country in violation of federal law, you better start packing now.
Former acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Thomas Homan, is President-elect Trump's new border czar, with broad powers to implement the new administration's restrictive immigration policies. Homan has made it clear that a new hard line on immigration is imminent, and that could include raids on workplaces, hospitals, and areas where undocumented people gather. The president-elect has also named immigration hardliner Stephen Miller as the deputy chief of staff. Both men have raised the specter of prison camps as a precursor to mass deportations. Advocates and activists here were quick to mobilize with a demonstration in Jersey City over the weekend, where the feeling was a mixture of fear and defiance. Torres says she was heartened by the expressions of support from law enforcement officials like the state attorney general and political leaders like Newark Mayor Ras Baraka.
Of all the states, nobody bosses New Jersey around, right? And so I think there's a real opportunity here to demonstrate leadership, especially as we head into our state elections in 2025.
And if you believe for 1 second that these folks think that you're gonna be safe because, oh, I didn't break a law, so I'm okay. No, it means that they want to get rid of everyone. Everyone, not just people who broke laws, Your presence here in their mind is breaking the law. They want to remove everyone. And if you don't understand that, then we're confused, and we have to make sure that everybody understands that we are all in danger.
I think that we should be confident in Trump's promise that mass deportations is a part of the plan. How we'll go about it is important that we answer that question in the next 3 months. Would they just begin to racially profile folks? Which sure would result in sort of immediate action by groups like the ACLU, but he could still do it. Would it be some sort of lists? If so, what lists would he target first?
Meanwhile, immigration attorneys are gearing up for a new reality of mass deportation efforts, detentions, and executive orders aimed at a population effectively demonized by the president-elect in his run-up to the election.
No more president! No more president! No more president!
Thousands of people took to the streets of New York City to protest against Donald Trump's re-election as 47th President of the United States of America and his promise to carry out the largest mass deportation of undocumented immigrants in U.S. history on day one of his presidency. Trump's running mate J.D. Vance estimated the removal of about 1 million people per year.
We say fight back! We say fight back!
There are at least 11 million unauthorized immigrants in the U.S., according to Pew Research Center, and at least 300,000 of them are Filipino.
The first time around for him, they just went into people's homes at night, in the middle of the night, and shipped people out and put them on planes in shackles and shipped them away. So we're really worried about that. And, the Filipinos are worried, the Hispanics, that's why there's such a large Hispanic presence today, because of that fear that it's going to be repeated.
Filipino Jose Antonio Vargas, a well-known undocumented immigrant and leading advocate for immigration rights, expressed concern on how immigrants can protect each other when Trump makes good on his promise to deport millions.
I absolutely believe Donald Trump. I believe everything he says, because not only has he shown us who he is, I think immigration has been a central issue.
Meanwhile, Philippine Ambassador to the U.S. Jose Manuel Romualdez advises undocumented Filipinos to immediately seek legal help to assess their status if they have a chance to stay, but if not, to leave voluntarily or face a ban.
If you're here and you don't have a chance of being here legal, I would recommend that they leave right away, because the minute you are deported, you cannot come back.
Immigration attorney Michael Garfinkel adheres to the same. Before undocumented Filipinos heed advice for self-deportation, it's important that they seek proper legal advice first.
Rather than just giving up and going home, where you may not be able to come back ever again to the U.S. and may not be able to see your family in the U.S. anymore, maybe see an attorney. Maybe there could be pathways or options.
U.S. President-elect Trump has picked former acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement Tom Homan to be in charge of the country's borders in his new administration.